Meow meow. Hey, little stray kitty, hanging out in my greenhouse. Meow 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 meow. Heater's ready to start heating, but greenhouse ain't quite sealed up enough to hold it yet. I got my flats and stuff ready to go. Put a half a door in here, kind of cobbed together just a few of these panels from a prefabricated greenhouse, just to like let some light in on this side, and cut the tarp over here for a flap door for now. Not a bad little space. When I hung this black netting up, so usually my mulberry catcher net, I just hung it up to a little black background to capture heat. I want to put some of this poly stuff along this whole back here, and maybe even hang it down the center just to enclose this space, and then move the heater in. Just so I got this little space here to click the heat, and then the black will collect heat and keep it inside, hopefully. But I also want to put some barrels along the back here and paint them black, and possibly even make a little I call it the jet stoves, to push air like maybe underneath the water, the black tanks, you know, to help heat, hold the heat, and then exhaust it maybe out the end, out this end or something. Taking it slow. There's some of my inventions covered up. I'm not gonna uncover them. And again, here's the wraparound heat collection tube that needs a little bit of supporting, and I love those little yellow clips. You can just like latch on any piece of plastic and pull it closed and tie it end to end or whatnot. Just kind of put a little makeshift door on the end. It's just some carpet hanging over with some more black plastic just to seal up and put some, keep the wind from blowing in is all. And this is actually my wind bottler that I've been working on and trying to get around to showing people, but this is the upper turbine collector part that I made. Let's give her a spin here. You can see the top wheel moves in the opposite direction as the bottom wheel, and this will all be enclosed in like a sail. That's why I've got the supports. You see the supports going up the side. I've got some even taller ones that this whole back part will be a sail, and this all comes down and connects to the base of a swing chair underneath all of this plastic. I may have to come back another time, but I don't know if you can see any of these parts. This is the hinge for the chair, the seats. I've got the seats kind of covered up right now, but here's the holding tanks set between the seats. And the pipes are running up through and up here at the joint. This is horrible. As it swings back and forth, I've got two air compressors on each side of the swing, that whichever direction I've got the swing actually tethered so it doesn't swing right now, but each stroke back and forth pumps air down into the tanks, and I've got it piped so that the pumps can actually have a pre-compressed input, so that every stroke is already compressed before it even swings, and that compression comes from this system. It's going to be gathering the air as it comes up and rocks the whole thing back and forth. It's going to be spinning this turbine and collecting air up through which pushes it up through the upper turbine, which is not attached at the moment. But these outrigger wheels are going to have the pinwheels on them just like the center one does, but they spin in opposite directions, and they actually add rotation to this whole turbine system. They'll be collecting wind along the sides that isn't caught up the middle, and of course this whole thing is going to be shrouded in a sail, so all the wind has to go up through this mechanism. And at the top of it I've got this is not going to be easy to show either. Let's see. It's not connected, but you're not going to be able to see any of this. Never mind. Abort, abort. Alright, let's go back to the trench. Ran out of battery last time I tried to show this. The trench pond has tires along each side that are filled with dirt and soil to plant different things along the sides of them. And each one of these, it's compartmented because this runs downhill a little bit, so it'll hold water up to a point and then spill over to the next one, then spill over to the next one down to the bottom. And I've got a contractor garden hose that will not split when it freezes, and it runs back and forth, laces back and forth and along the sides and comes back up to the top, so I can pump the water from the bottom back up to the top. And I can actually do some aquaponics in here, I think. Different sizes of fish maybe down through. Could even put some black netting, you know, so that to keep them separated. And I'm working on little bins like this that have like flotation devices on the bottoms of them, trying to work out different weights and whatnot of how many different flats or you know, how much buoyancy I have to add to the bottom of them to sit in each one of these and be able to grow things on top as the fish live down below, and do various types of vegetation all the way down through in the summertime while growing things along the side. And I put this one little PVC pipe hoop up just as a demo, because I could enclose either just the pond or I can make it larger and enclose right across the tires and just enclose the whole thing in like I did in the back, and have another enclosed greenhouse with its own water supply to keep it from freezing solid like this. And it is solid. I mean, some parts have a little standing water on top, but what nice thing about it is this is the second year that I've had used this poly tarp, and it's not just the poly tarp. There's like 2 or 3 layers of the woven tarp underneath it that started leaking. So I decided to put this over all of the other layers as well. So this is 2 years in a row that I have not lost any water whatsoever. The ice doesn't rip through it. At least, yeah, like I said, 2 years now, so that's a pretty good track record. I started explaining this sandbox at the end. It is a sandbox, so I thought it might be a perfect filtration system, a secondary one to pump up maybe before it overflows over into my other pond that I'm building over here that's covered in carpeting. And by the way, start gathering carpeting. All the old carpeting you can find. It comes in so handy for like just blocking off weeds. I got crabgrass problem from when they backfilled this place. There used to be a house on this lot, and they just brought in all kinds of crappy soil. It was just junk weeds all over the place that are taken over. But the carpet seems to work nice, at least temporarily. And even if the crabgrass and stuff starts to grow in it, you can just rip it up. Just rip up the carpet, and it just rips roots and everything of the crabgrass and stuff up. But lots of different uses for it. I've got some I've got some raised beds right out by the street too that people will be able to munch off of. This whole row here is all raspberry bushes that I brought from camp and transplanted here. They've been doing excellent. People love the raspberries. There's also strawberries, wild strawberries that got transplanted along with them. I know it's really junky looking here now, but wild strawberries. I even got some regular strawberries. Every one of these posts I want to cover in fencing and carpeting and do the salad tree idea, and maybe even some real fruit trees planted in between or back a little ways. It slopes downhill here a little bit already, and right behind me is the pond that I want to build. So I want to take some of the dirt out of the pond and build a swale system along here to hold up the water, so it'll like slowly seep down toward the sidewalk down here and help water the plant, the fruit trees and the salad trees. And here's the I was talking about before, the bean trellises that I built out of the same field fencing. Along here, it gives a little support for the beans and the peas and whatnot that I grow in the spring. A little place for the guys to hang out. I've been hearing stories like 50, 60-year-old guys have been hanging underneath this huge maple tree ever since they were little kids. They used to come here and hang out in this corner. So it's a lot of memories for a lot of people, and they're very happy to see something happening to this spot. And I hope to be able to follow through and make them proud of it, and maybe inspire some more people to do the same thing. You know, any empty lots that they find, you know, just either get the permit or try to buy the lots cheap, you know, especially if they're like right next door to them, if they live next to them. Purchase up the lots and start gathering the leaves instead of like handing them over to the city and put them into compost bins, like what I'm doing here. Just kind of get some old fencing and cordon off a little space somewhere and start dumping your leaves and sticks and all the remnants from the garden. You know, it gets mixed in, and it helps feed the whole garden, you know. This was an old potato patch here. I had the tires here. These were red potatoes. I harvested those already. Got a good, nice harvest out of those. And again, the purple potatoes that I'm pretty confident that they're going to survive the winter. Each one of these has 3 tires filled with soil. And they grew, I mean, voraciously out the tops of them. So, I mean, the whole thing is like, every stack is like intertwined with roots. But it looks like the potatoes probably aren't stacked all the way up. They're all the way down to the bottom level before you start hitting potatoes. But the nice thing about it is that you don't have to dig into the frozen ground to harvest them. You can leave them out all winter long and let them store out here, and you know, worst comes to worst, just come out and uncover a little bit and take a stack. And there's probably a good, for at least 5 pounds of potatoes at the bottom of each one of these tires, I guarantee it. And that's the whole garden. Long film, but the ugly urban garden startings that, I just want to the air compression inventions that I'm going for. The main goal is to be able to come up with a system that displaces compressed air with water, so I can push all the water from this lowest point after it all drains down back up through hoses, maybe even up to my roof, to catch it again in the gutters, you know, to have a continuous rinsing kind of an effect, you know, flowing constantly. You know, just use the wind power to push the water up to my roof, and might even provided some air conditioning for the house you know, to have the water, you know, trickling on the roof, or, you know, all kinds of different options. So we're going to try to look at all of them. Peace.